let's get reaction now from our Scotland correspondent, Peter Smith. Peter, it's clear from the former First Minister there, she still has regrets from her time in office.
Yeah, I think, Lucretia, it's important to say I don't think she would have abandoned the gender reforms that she was proposing, but she's saying now that there should have been a pause. Now, I think important to provide some context there is that at the time there were prominent opponents to this legislation who were asking for exactly that, asking for a pause, and the loudest voice that was saying no to that was Nicola Sturgeon. She was resolute. She said trans women are women. That was her response at the time. And then Isla Bryson came along, and that complicated matters. Nicola Sturgeon started saying trans women are women, except in certain contexts, such as the prison context. In an interview with me, that's what she said. And now we're hearing her saying that trans rights could be forfeited in certain circumstances. Now, given you wouldn't say that a woman could sacrifice her right to be a woman, depending on her behaviour, I think we're already seeing reaction. People who oppose the legislation seeing some vindication from Nicola Sturgeon's sort of semi-mea culpa, but people in the trans community feeling somewhat abandoned.
All right, and then Peter, in this interview, Ms Sturgeon also reveals her sadness at the death of her former mentor, Alex Salmond. Let's just have a listen.
I still miss him in some way, the person that I used to know and the relationship we used to have, but I thought I had made my peace with it, that I'd got to a point where I felt nothing. And then I got a call to tell me that Alex Salmond had died. And I started crying on the phone, and I just was hit by this wave of grief. And it was complicated because obviously we weren't just no longer friends, we were political enemies. There was no prospect I was going to be able to go to his funeral or anything like that. Yeah, it was a kind of strange feeling.
What we've heard there is the raw emotion from Nicola Sturgeon. In this interview, we're not only hearing Nicola Sturgeon saying things that we haven't heard her say before, we're seeing her in a very different light from how we've ever seen her before. I know how meticulously prepared she is normally. We're seeing her in a much more human sense here. But I think it's interesting that throughout what we're seeing in the book and this interview, it's almost a career defined by political divisions and drama. And I think both her opponents and her detractors would be in agreement that in this book we are seeing the real Nicola Sturgeon.
OK, Peter in Glasgow, thank you.